Welcome, my name is Matt, aka Road Jedi 88. We are getting into Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes mods. RC-1262 Scorch. He is, I believe, in the Clone Wars TV series, and he must have been kind of a minor character because I don't recall a whole lot about this guy. I have no book references for this guy. There's no knowledge of him from my generation of Star Wars as far as the George Lucas era generation, which is largely where I'm going to come from, because that is the generation I grew up in of Star Wars. As someone kind of pointed out, for the Disney generation of Star Wars, it definitely is viewed as lore. My generation sees it as it just is Star Wars. But you know, gotta adapt with the changes, right? And that has been a huge struggle for me when it comes to Disney Star Wars. It has been a huge struggle because it's almost like a whiplash of everything I ever grew up knowing. All of a sudden, there's something different. It's like, what? So, of the Disney generation, I shared the George Lucas era generation concept to help maybe bring understanding as to why there might be the fan war that is in place. Because it is a bit of a whiplash for my generation. It really is. Not to mention, Disney does not help themselves having an infamous history of destroying other people's good stories. That part does not help their image. And Disney generation of Star Wars that knows this history of Disney. This is one of the reasons why we were afraid of Disney taking Star Wars. We knew nothing was going to stay the same. We knew it. And they did not disappoint. Disney does what it does best. Star Wars got Disneyed, as we would say it. It got Disneyed. But we have seen worse projects get Disneyed. They have elements that can still be palatable for their Star Wars. It's just a working process for my generation to accept and adapt. But defense and health. Okay, I'm just going straight into reading. Yeah, I do go out this unscripted. I want to throw that out there also. I go out this unscripted. It allows me to try to level myself down with my viewers. I do acknowledge that maybe some scripting might be necessary, but even though I'm talking to a freaking device with you not actually in front of me, I'm at least trying to attempt to have a one-on-one conversation, sharing knowledge of what I do know, between the George Lucas era generation of Star Wars, and then of course helping with the mods here, because there is a lot of mod SWGOH Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes mod content creators who literally will not break down the definition of the mods that they try to show you. And I've watched some where even I have to question if they even know the words there or even use it. And as a published book author, naturally, I work out of a dictionary. I spend my time in a dictionary. So, with that said, RC-1262 is a tank character. If you go to my first video in my mods character, as I've retitled it, Characters and Mods, because I do give character background info, especially in the ones that I am most familiar with, which is going to largely be from the George Lucas era of Star Wars, where I'm able to, with the Disney Star Wars characters, there are some that have been very prominent, for me to follow, and then there's some I have some research to do. Yes, I agree. And I probably will be redoing my character and mods playlist concept. This is just kind of my first run through at these, but I am taking notes where it might be needed. I'm working up suggestions. I'm trying to self-educate myself. I'm having to re-educate myself on certain editing softwares concept as well as self-educate on the newer stuff because I'm about 15 years outdated between other career work that I've been in as well as having to focus on PTSD recovery. There has been a little bit of a time gap. So I got some catching up to do. But when you want to get something going, sometimes you just gotta get kickstart, right? And that's essentially what I'm trying to do. It is a growing process, so bear with me on the mods or on my gaming channel overall. For those who are following, I greatly appreciate it. It does mean a lot to me. I have faith in my abilities and skills, especially going at this independently and without the help of more college. I'm literally doing this on the fly on my own. So, and with limited resources. But I got faith in my abilities. So, if you go to my first video playlist, my first character mods playlist video, I do, by definition, break down the various different types of character roles, as well as the various different types of mods and their purposes of why we are applying them into the various different types of character roles. Basically, we're either doubling their primary role objective for the squad, or we are cross-training them, okay? That's basically what we are doing. RC-1262 is a tank character. He is not the military vehicle, and by definition, a tank is protecting what is inside. That is what a tank is, by definition. Like if you had a fish, what do you put them in? What do you put that fish in? You put it in a fish tank. In Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes purposes, the tank character is protecting the squad members inside the squad. That is his sole purpose. If you go to swgoh.gg online website, which is based on fan preference statistics, they statistically have majority ruled health and defense as primary mod use, which is the same as the in-game tips. Now, I do question if possibly this character could be undervalued, underutilized, because we do have a number of characters that just are not at the first thought of our minds when we go into a battle. We have other characters who are large name drops within the Star Wars universe who kind of get in the way at the forefront of our minds. We have certain squads that are easily preferred just because of how the kind of attacks and defense they provide right off the bat that is just hard to go unnoticed. For all I know, Scorch, I honestly don't know hardly anything about Scorch, so he would easily be part of the last character I would ever take into consideration and ever using in a battle, just like the Jawas or the Tusken Raiders, or even the Gungans. And a while back, I got my butt whooped by a squad of Gungans. It was because I undermined them. So you never know. Some characters that are not at the forefront of focus, oftentimes are probably the ones you might want to work with. And you just don't know it because it's not a big name drop or a badass. I'm trying to filter my mouth, but just an awesome, outstanding squad group to go with. Yeah, I am a veteran with PTSD, so trying to censor my mouth is something I do try to work on here, because there might be younger viewers that just don't need to hear that stuff. I get that. Trying to work on that. Anyways, deal physical damage. So okay. So there are reasons for, if you look at their abilities, because the mods affect those, there is need for critical damage mods. More needs for critical damage mods, possibly even. I thought I read a word wrong. Well, I see purpose for tenacity. I do see reasons for tenacity. And that would be a tank feature right there. When you have a character that's willing to taunt, he's opening himself up to be a punching bag. All the focus is going to go on him, okay? So when he taunts, how durable do you want your punching bag to be? How easy do you want that thing to rip up? Probably not at all. So, defense and health kind of bland terms for a character who opens himself up to be a punching bag. Tenacity, by definition, it means not easily torn apart. I do spend a great deal of my time in a dictionary, which is why you're going to get dictionary terms from me, as I am a published book author. Also, I spend a lot of time in a dictionary. Tenacity does mean not easily torn apart. It means he's going to be more durable. He can take more hits with that tenacity. Now, tenacity in defense is already laced into his DNA. As I would point out about your healer character role, how good of a doctor do you really want? Do you want some crackerjack box doctor who barely passed med school or do an operation on you when you're in a life-threatening situation in a squad battle? Or do you want someone who's going to know what they're doing? How good of a healer do you want that healer to be? How good do you want your punching bag to be? How durable do you want him to be when he's taking hits? I raise that question to take into consideration. Defense is kind of a vague word. Yeah, it does mean what it says, but how? There are many ways to defend. Health. Well, if you have like Clone Trooper Sergeant who revives characters, he can bring the dead back to life. He can bring your punching bag back to life even, if he needed to. So health mod is kind of getting in the way of putting in place something that might actually help strengthen your punching bag, your squad's punching bag. Think about it. Because he's standing between your squad members and the enemy saying, I'll take the hits. You want to pick on my squad? You got to go through me first. That's basically what he's doing when he taunts. All the focus is going to fall on him. And another round with taunt. So he does a lot of taunting. So, if it was me, since he loves to taunt, maybe speed and tenacity, or double the tenacity, and maybe a pair of health mods. That is what I'm thinking. The in-game tip isn't necessarily bad, but I do feel it is a little vague. And I feel like the health mods is slightly getting in the way of something that could be making your punching bag a little more durable. So I'm going to make some changes on my mods as well, because I don't want my punching bag ripping up so easily. That is what I'm thinking. What did I just do? Yeah, I saw that. I've been sick the last 2 or 3 days, so I'm still trying to get my thought process back. A while back, I actually had kind of a minor heart attack, too. And I seriously thought I was about to have one last night, actually. So I've been doing a lot of resting. I do have a heart condition, so sometimes it messes with my health a little, you know. And of course, PTSD, stressors. You know, I gotta watch my blood pressure. So, But that aside, okay, so trying to make sure I'm not overlooking this. Okay, speed and tenacity is actually the direction I want to go with for my guy, because I want him to be able to move quick when he does attack. Because tanks, here's the other factor about tanks. What makes them so durable is the making of that durability, but it also, because it has to be heavy in whatever is making it durable, so that it can take those hits, because it has to be made heavily. The more weight you have on something, the more slowed down it's going to be. So, putting a little speed in his pep, a little pep to the step, his speed to his feet, so he can actually fight too, not just stand there and be a punching bag. Because what's the point of dishing? You know, if you're gonna taunt someone, you better be ready to fight back, right? Excuse me. Just standing there and taking the hits is gonna get you quickly killed. You need this guy to be able to fight back. You need him to dish it out too. If he's gonna stand between you and the squad, that is part of what is actually gonna play a factor in his tenacity. Also, what's going to allow him to not be easily torn apart, to actually hold his ground, to be able to last in that fight, is his ability to fight back. So putting a little speed on him while he's taking the hits, hopefully it should allow him to fight back. He's a tank character, so that speed, not only is he going to move quicker, unless you wanted to go with potency, that is another possibility. It will allow them. We are giving him an attacker role ability with the speed. If you wanted to change tenacity with potency, I would not rule that out either, because with that, the potency, what it is dominating his attacks. It's making his attacks more dominating. They're gonna feel a tank punch them. They're gonna feel a brick right through their face. I mean, that is what they're going to feel. So, that's the idea, in theory. Because he's built heavily. He's built to take the hits. You have something that can take the hits. Do you want it thrown at you? Probably not. Logically, probably not. It's going to hurt. If he can take that kind of hit and still stand on the ground, you know it's going to hurt having it thrown at you. So speed and potency, I would not rule that out. But if he's doing a lot of taunting, and you might consider having a backup loadout, assign a backup loadout, depending on the type of opponents you're going up against, how you are deciding your attacks. I don't always like to go with autoplay, because I have seen autoplay literally make suicidal maneuvers. I have seen autoplay literally make suicidal tactical moves with my characters. Moves that, as a chess player mentality type person, I would never do in a battle situation. Oftentimes, the computer is only as smart as its programmer. And sometimes a programmer misses something. So, and I'm not trying to disrespect whoever the programmer was, but I'm just simply pointing out, sometimes the player is going to be able to see something that the programming is not going to see. It's just simply, another eye able to catch what another eye could not. And so depending on how you go into a battle, how you formula your squad based on how you formulate each of your characters you're going to use in that squad. If you were to go into a squad where you have, say, for example, Clone Trooper Sergeant, unless I'm mistaken, I want to say it's Sergeant, who can revive other clone characters or other people in the squads. Your Scorch guy can be revived if he were to die, bringing your punching bag back to life again. So take that into consideration. How you formulate your mod choice to appropriately for whatever battles you're about to go up against, because your opponents aren't all the same. You have different opponents who fight differently, and you're gonna need different approaches as to how you attack and how you defend. Scorch, he can do some serious damage according to half of his abilities. He can do damage. Throw it at him with that speed would be my suggestion. And have that tenacity, since half the time he likes to taunt. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm not necessarily saying defense and health is bad, but they are still relatively vague, as well as kind of get in the way of being able to amplify what this character could potentially do, is what I'm pointing out. So RC-1262 Scorch, that is his mods, my recommendations.